Good stuff.
Thank you, Bay City Rollers. That was fun to listen to that and reminisce a little bit.
What is this?
Right.
You know, you're on TV. You know, this weird shit.
All right.
Look at this. Look at this.
Okay.
Is this a suit? You
All
call this a suit?
Okay.
Look at it.
All right, everybody, please welcome to the stage Frank Hope and David Green.
Everybody, and David, come on. Wait. Want to say hi to Mr. Bresler, right? Okay.
Wow, what a pleasure, guys.
It's our pleasure, Mr. Bresler, and thank you for having us. This is quite an honor to be here.
The honor's all mine. Is David comfortable?
David's doing okay. David, your nails have gotten quite long, I see. Right? Okay. Yeah, he's fine.
Fantastic. Well, for those of you who are in attendance who aren't familiar with Beyond Vaudeville, I thought we would start out with a video that illustrates the relationship between you two.
Oh, okay. Great.
Cool. Let's roll it.
The Beyond Vaudeville program with host Frank Hope, with special guest Mason Reese, and also starring Suzanne Muldowney as Underdog, with Kevin Collier, resident movie critic.
Oh. Thank you, David. This is the Beyond Vaudeville program. My name is Frank Hope, and no, I'm not related to Bob, even though it's funny because my best friend's name is Bill Coleman, whose initials are BC, the same as Bing Crosby's, who was a good friend of Bob Hope's. Okay, thanks again for watching the Beyond Vaudeville program. I'm Frank Hope, and this is my co-host David Green. And we have so many things today, but and so many great guests. Maybe first we can start off. David, I brought some Fruit Loops. If you want some, you can have. Okay, that's not a good way to start the program, David. All right, maybe we should try something else. We'll get through it. We'll go over this way, right, David? How are you? Okay. Oh boy.
You okay, Frank?
I'm okay.
You sure?
Okay. Sorry, David. Accidents happen, right? All right. Let's get the show on the road, right, as they say? Right? Okay. Okay, sorry, David. I picked up a McDonald's record on the way up, and if you play it and they sing the whole song...
Yeah, I'm sure people want to hear that.
Well, maybe it's exciting. Like people like to watch game shows, so they'd like to see maybe if I win. Let's do it just like a game show.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's 45.
Oh, okay.
No, it's 30.
Big Mac, McDeal, deer, quarter pounder with some cheese for way, a fish, a hamburger, a cheeseburger, a Happy Meal, McNuggets, tasty golden fresh fries, regular or larger size of salad,
They have to
garden or a chicken salad, oriental, big breakfast, egg McMuffin, hot cakes.
Now, if they sing the whole thing like the guy, then you win.
Three varieties of sauce or country kinds of shakes and chocolate, eat your cookies, and a drink of Coca-Cola, Diet Coke and orange, drink a Sprite and coffee, decaf, 2 a low-fat milk, also an orange juice. I love McDonald's, good time, great taste, and I get this all at one place. Got it? Got it! Okay, now you do it! Big Mac, McDeal, deer, quarter pounder with some cheese. Ah, too bad.
Oh, okay. Well, we lost, but that doesn't mean you can't win next time, right? And
Yeah, play it again. Maybe you'll win next time.
well, it's all right because I go to McDonald's anyway, so why not just go and get the record? I am taking up ventriloquism now, and I have my Charlie McCarthy doll, and I want to show you how he talks. How are you today, Charlie? Oh. Okay.
All right, David. Well, if you're going to be tough, I brought my Desert Shield gun. All right. Okay.
And we wanted to tell people that now we're not just Beyond Vaudeville, but we're the award-winning Beyond Vaudeville. And we won the award on the Paragon Cable Access Awards.
Damn award. It's sick. You know, for this show, you know, you and your...
No, sit down. Sit down. All right, give me the award. No, don't, David. It's... All right, give me the award.
What I think is your award.
What did you... All right. That's not funny. David broke the award, and I don't think that's funny at all. And you shouldn't even stay on the show if you're going to do that, because we all worked very hard for this award. All right, sit down. All right, let's... okay, I want to... what can we... let's show the award ceremony in which we won the award.
The winner for most original show is Beyond Vaudeville.
Congratulations. Okay. Thank you, and thank everyone for choosing us for the Beyond Vaudeville program. Frank Hope, this is my co-host, Dave, and we want to thank our producers, Kathy Kickert, Steve Korn, Rich Brown, and I want to thank everyone here, and especially Joe Franklin. Let's say hi to Joe. Dave, come on. Hi, Mr. Franklin.
Pleasure.
I think it's a little sick to get an award for this
All right,
show.
no,
So yeah, that's a co-host saying that he thinks it's sick to get an award for his own show.
Right, but that was 30 years ago, and I'm sure, you know, David, maybe you feel a little differently now, and you'd like to, now that you've seen that, say maybe, you know, that you feel a little differently about it now, right? That you have time to think about it, right? Okay. Yeah. So
well,
I think he's, yeah, he's feeling better about it.
good. Maybe you could briefly talk about how you guys first met and ended up doing a show together.
Yeah, okay. We met in college, and David was a philosophy major, and we started doing shows at the college, and then we eventually, you know, found this world of public access where we realized we could do a show and have all our friends on that, you know, that we got to know in New York, and so that's all the guests that you would see on there were just people that we got to know in New York. Me a little more than David, I think. Yeah.
And would you? The clips that I just showed were, it was a very hostile relationship between you two. Were there also good times or calmer times?
Those were some of the calmer times, I think, that you saw on there. There were, yeah, and I just, one of the things there was when David broke my ventriloquist doll and broke our award that we won, and another thing that maybe you can apologize for at some point, right, David? Or tell us a little how you feel differently about that now, maybe? All right. And we'll save it all up till the end, maybe, and he can address those things. Yeah, so what was the question?
Well, actually, what you were saying leads into our next clip. So there's a show that served as an inspiration for your show.
Yes. It was a great show on public access called Change Yourself, But Not the World. And Joe Franklin, who you saw at the awards ceremony, this was the guy who kind of helped Joe with running errands around New York, and his name was Chris Diola. and he was teamed up with Bernard Cheval, who was a hairdresser, and he from New Jersey, and they did a show, and we were inspired by them. Some of the ideas for like puppets and things you'll see on that.
I think this does need a bit of setup, though. So this is a super obscure public access show hosted by a hairdresser.
Right, from Alsace-Lorraine.
Right,
yes.
and the show is basically an advertisement for his salon.
Yes, essentially, yeah.
And at 30 minutes in length, it's a very dry show. So I cut about a 2.5-minute segment. This gives you all you'll ever need to know about change yourself and the
but
world.
Not the world.
But not
yes.
the world. All right, here we go.
Look at this. This was my work. I done this in my salon or in the beauty academy where I'm working. This is a frosting, as you can see. It goes nicely with the model face, her features, and the hair looks very elegant. Now I have something else here. This is what we call it tipping. Excuse me for a minute.
Okay.
Let me finish. I want to talk this to the customer, to the viewers out there. I also have something for the guys. Don't think for a minute the guys are left in the open. No way.
What about me? Something about the guy.
Yes, naturally. Just a minute. I tell you this much. Usually, when you go into your regular styling salon or your styling shop, whatever you want to call it, the best thing, you leave it up to your stylist. And they will give you the right definition, what's becoming on you or not. Okay? Right, look who's here. Donald. Hi, Donald. Look at them.
I'm playing you.
Isn't that a nice pair together? They really go together. Really nice, these two guys.
The thing you get off the set before you fight you.
We're located in at the Parisian Beauty Academy, Hackensack, New Jersey. The area code is 201. The telephone number is Diamond 21618.
Between 5:30 and 9 p.m.
It's only about 20 minutes from the George Washington Bridge, and there's always emblem parking, so don't hesitate.
We have
anytime you come to see us, and we'll give you the tour. Before we're signing off,
no, we're not signing off yet. We still got a little more.
Just a minute. Goodbye, everybody. Take care of yourself. And keep well. Good to see you again.
I didn't get to see it. If you want to see the whole set, the camera guy has some time.
What's interesting about that show is that the host actually has the opposite issue that you have, in that he's always trying to calm down his co-host, whereas yours is usually pretty silent.
Yeah, David occasionally will contribute, but yeah, I never thought of it that way, but yeah.
And so that's what inspired you to have the puppets, which were mainstays on Beyond Vaudeville.
The puppets and the idea that anyone can be a star, and that's what we've always tried to bring to the show.
Sure. Fantastic. So up next, we have a montage of David clips as well as Joey the Monkey clips. Can you speak about Joey a bit?
Well, Joey the Monkey was he was someone that was brought into the show to was a great guy, John Walsh, that would come on as Joey the Monkey, and he would always lighten up the show with a little dance, or usually a little dance, and but sometimes he would do plate spinning and juggling, and he was really a multi-talented guy, monkey, and yeah. So you have a couple of samples of this.
Sure.
Good morning, my Long Island.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. You want me to sing another song?
Well, we don't have too much time.
Oh,
but
okay.
If you want to go, yeah, sure.
One song's enough.
No,
One's
okay.
enough?
No, so you go ahead, Stryker. It's
All right.
okay. I said it's okay.
This is romantic, so I'm going to take my glasses off.
Okay.
Lights out, baby.
Shut up.
We had a busy day.
Shut up.
Okay.
Nighty night.
Shut up.
Maybe.
Shut up. Shut up.
All right, David, that's not very nice now.
This painting was called Persephone. This is only a lithograph. It's not the original painting because it's snowing outside, and I didn't want to risk damaging one of the original pieces of work that I have hanging.
Okay. Now, is everyone on the panel fans of science fiction, or maybe not a fan, even if you're not a fan?
Does anybody care about this geek and his fairy pictures? Come on, why do you have to book people like this?
No, David. Okay.
I like Childhood's End by Arthur C. Clarke. That's my favorite.
Okay.
I was in Germany. We did a variety show, all European acts, and I was the MC. And it's being shown in Germany and through Europe right now. It's a pilot, and if it's sold, I'll be going to Germany this fall, hopefully.
Oh, that would be great. David, maybe you could put the puppet back in the back where it belongs, okay? Just so we can... Okay, all right now. Okay.
Ow! You know, if we could...
Okay.
They said it was a nice show.
Now put that down, Zoe.
Some peace poetry, quick. Thank God I took our collision.
David, maybe a bit. All right, David. He didn't mean that.
So, come up to the lab and see what's on the slab. I see you shiver with anticipation. But maybe the rain is really to blame. So I'll remove the cause. But not the symptom.
I don't know what, I think, maybe we should, okay. I don't know, I just try to do this show and now it just doesn't seem like it's working right tonight. I don't know what, I think it's all your fault, David, for putting things on the wrong foot, starting the whole night off wrong.
You're incompetent.
All right, David, I'm incompetent, so you're going to run the show yourself. You go right ahead, and you run the show yourself. No, Joey, no. Go stay with him. Let David run the show. David is so good, and he's such a critic, that he's going to do the show all by himself.
Mr. Musto, could you tell us about your book? It's, how much have you written?
I can't go on without, like, I got used to the show being a certain way with him. You know, whoever he is, I was growing to sort of like him. Maybe they have something more to say about Sammy Davis.
Maybe they do. Sammy who? Sammy Davis. Never heard of him.
Okay, well, didn't that work very well? Well, David, didn't that work just great? Boy, you really know how to run a show. Yeah, Frank doesn't know how to run a show, but I leave you here alone for 30 seconds, and you don't even know, you can't even start to talk to anybody.
I don't know if you can comment on this, but I find that a large part of the charm of your show are these kind of extended, I don't want to say dead pieces, but things you wouldn't see on a normal television show, be it playing a full Bay City Rollers song, playing the full McDonald's promo record, walking off set, and just resulting in all of the silence between David and the guests. Is this some? I assume this isn't something you strove for. It's just kind of something that happened along the way.
Well, yeah. I mean, actually, the McDonald's that record. I don't know if you remember this promo.
Mm-hmm.
You were probably young, but they had a giveaway. Every time you bought a hamburger, they'd give you the record, and if you played it till the end, like one of the records would say you won $1 million, and I had like 50 of those things, and I really wanted to play them all that day on that show, but we had other guests we had to get to, so it's within reason. I mean, it was good so people could hear the whole song, the whole thing, but if I really had a choice, I would have liked to have played all of them.
Sure. Hence, David's great line about "play it again, maybe you'll win next time."
Yeah, that would be impossible. I don't even know what you were
You got
thinking
it.
with that, David. Right? You understand the concept of the record? Because it was like you couldn't play it. You play it again, you get the same results, right? Okay. I also heard you breathing heavily when Delphina, that Rocky Horror guy, was when we were looking at that. It seemed like you were breathing a little heavier. Maybe it was just something I was interpreting, but it sounded like you were a little. Okay.
Yeah, the worry on your face during that segment is priceless.
It was uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was hoping you could also comment on. You obviously created this kind of subversive counterculture show, but you often embrace a lot of aspects of popular culture, and often obscure popular culture. There was a segment where Joey the Monkey was dancing to the theme song from Buska, which is a completely unknown Japanese children's show from the 70s.
Yeah.
Did all that come from your mind or from producers?
Well, a lot of what you saw, I mean, a lot of Joey's things were Joey himself coming up with that, and he was very particular about his performances and his dances. And when he did the spinning plates, he did the saber dance, which was, the sort of the music that you'd always use on, Ed Sullivan's show or something. So he was very particular about that stuff. Those were his choices, that music.
Great. It serves as a great gateway for people who have this kind of similar mindset towards obscure popular culture. It kind of, makes us feel like we're all part of one community, I feel.
Well, I can't believe you know that song. That's that's amazing.
So up next, we're going to look at a really fun aspect of the show, and that's the performers. Do you want to speak about how you got some of the, not necessarily the well-known performers, but some of the local New York City performers?
Well, a lot of them were people that that I would meet in New York at talent shows and or even on the streets of New York, and and sometimes if I met somebody interesting, sometimes at comic book conventions and things, and I would just we'd talk and have a good time and have a conversation, and then I'd ask if they'd want to come on the show, and sometimes they would say like, well, I don't really, I don't know what I'd talk about, or I don't have a talent or whatever, and I'd be like, well, you just told me, you just talked for an hour and a half about Star Trek. I think you're a Star Trek expert, so that's how a lot of people would end up on the show.
Fantastic. So during this clip series, you will see the great David Peel.
Yes, who just passed recently, 2 weeks ago. But yes, he's there with Audrey Landers, one of the Landers sisters, and a guy, Rich Curdy, who used to do Al Jolson impressions. And you'll see they didn't care for Mr. Peel too much, but you'll see that.
Also, you'll see Izzy Fertel, who was a frequent guest.
Yes, Izzy Fertel was one of our favorites. He was Tiny Tim's protege, so he was always known as Tiny Tim's Tiny Tim. He was the guy, and Tiny, who came on our show a few times, he always wanted to bring Izzy Fertel and so we would have them together sometimes. And the last time Tiny Tim was on our show, he wanted to have Izzy Pertel and Arthur Tracy, the street singer, who was popular in the 1930s. And he also wanted to find this guy Wee Willie Robine in New Jersey, and but I could never find him. But we did find Arthur Tracy, and so we had all three of them on the set together. And there was one awkward moment when Tiny referred to Arthur Tracy, who by that point was about 90 years old, and said, well, we're very lucky to have here the late, great Arthur Tracy. And he was sitting right there, but I don't think he heard it. So.
Just to do her hair now, 'cause she cares, y'all. Hurry, I wouldn't be right without her makeup. She never had a makeup. She's just like you and me, but she's homeless. She's homeless. And she stands there singing for money. La-da-dee, la-da-do, la-da-dee, la-da-do, la-da-dee, la-da-do, la-da-dee, la-da-do.
All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance.
Einser Säge, zweier Säge, dreier Säge rakt. Vierer Säge, fünfer Säge, sechser Säge rakt. Siebener Säge, achter Säge, neuner Säge rakt. Mit Raken herum, dem Säge bei Nacht. Mit Raken dieses wären Tag. Mit Raken herum, dem Säge bei Nacht. Wenn der Säge sagt, 1, 2 und 3, das ist Zeit mit Fangen an Nein.
I'm so happy, I'm so gay. Oh, I can come twice a day. I'm your mailman. I lift your knocker, ring your bell, and you think that I am swell. I'm your mailman.
A Camptown ladies are 5 miles around. Oh, a doo-dah-day. And I am definitely topsy-turvy, sirs, but not the topsy-turvy. And not little Eva or Uncle Tom's cabin unless a big box ring ting-a-ling is got. What I do are critiques upon our present-day civilization in a semi-risque comedic way. So a lot of it is from my point of view. Other ladies, Julie ladies, modern day Julie ladies, we are the clowns, let us entertain you, and so on. And I'm kind of serious, but not really, and it's a spoof and a satire.
Okay, we have now number 7 is going to go on. This is Rosie from the Bronx. Rose.
Oh, hello, Ada Love. I'm so happy to talk to you. What should I do? I have a problem. My husband, he just wants to eat his pancakes in the morning breakfast and sit all day and watch TV.
A song here for Quail.
Okay.
Would that be all right?
That's great.
Quail. All right. And now, by the way, I'm sending my bust to Europe. This is a bust of myself.
Okay.
And I'm sending it to Europe. It's going to be put at my grave. It's being put up on this,
But that's a long way away.
No, well, before cold weather, I hope.
Oh no, I mean before you go to, well, okay, well maybe
that's right. No, I'll plan on going.
I wanna be a movie star. I wanna see my name in lights. I wanna sing in a video. I wanna be bigger than life. 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 I wanna be a household word. Yeah, one that everybody already knows. I wanna jet all around the world.
the Uncle Sam guy. Thank you. Lots of great talent we've had, and that's just some of it, you know. And but the guy, Joe Erdely Jr., who was Uncle Sam, he lived in a fifth floor walk-up in Hell's Kitchen, and we would always have to go pick up these people and bring them all to the studio, and that was a rare day that we were doing 2 episodes. And it was very complicated because we had Jeffrey Holder, the Cola Nuts guy he was in the Bond movie, and then we had Joey Adams was going to be in the other show, the comic, and both of them were a little testy, and we were waiting, and so it turned out Steve, who works with us and he's out here, and he was picking up Mr. Erdely along with John, who was Joey the Monkey, and John went upstairs and Steve waited down in the car, and it was just taking a really long time, and so I called from the studio and I called Mr. Erdely's apartment, and you know, I had Jeffrey Holder was yelling at me, and I said finally John picked up the phone, and I said, John, what's going on? And John whispered to me like, it's really disgusting here, and the guy wants me to reach under his bed to get some of his papers to bring on the show, and he said he was moving very slowly, and I said, I said like loudly, well, John, you really got to get him here, and just pick him up and bring him down the stairs, and things got really quiet, and they finally showed up, and John told me when he got there, he did end up carrying him down the stairs, and he said that Mr. Erdely, it was hard of hearing, so his phone had this really loud speaker on it, so Mr. Erdely heard me saying all these things, yelling to get him down there, but it all worked out. He was happy to be there, and Joey Adams and Jeffrey Holder stayed and stay. People didn't always stay on the show. I have a second to just mention. Okay, because we had some guests that would show up, and then they decided they didn't want to be on the show. And that happened with Karen Lynn Gorney, who was on Saturday Night Fever. She was in the movie, right? The lady in Saturday Night Fever. And she came in and she looked at the studio, and she said she was going to go to the corner to buy a soda. And she never came back. And then we had Sammy Shore, who Pauly Shore's dad, he had opened for Elvis Presley as a comic, and he showed up, and he said, "I'm not doing this blank," and he said, "I'm out of here," but he wanted $10 for a cab to go back, and we were like, well, you're not staying, and so he just left in a huff, and then just one more, we had Warner Wolf, who was a sportscaster in New York for a number of years on ABC, and he came on because his uncle was Mousy Garner, who was one of the Three Stooges, like the fifth Stooge or something, and he came on to talk about Mousy Garner, and we had a good time, and then Tiny Tim came out as the next guest, and Tiny and I got very engaged in a conversation about dental care, like floss and toothpaste and tooth powder and all these things, and during that conversation, Warner Wolf just got up from the couch and left, and but fortunately the cameras were just on us, so it just seemed like he dematerialized or something when we got down to the next one. So.
But on the other hand, you had plenty of celebrity guests who seemed really appreciative of what you were doing.
Yes, I think so. I hope so. Yeah.
We're going to take a look at a few now, including the actor who played Baron Samedi in the James Bond film.
Jeffrey Holder. Thank you. Yes, that's the gentleman I was referring to earlier. Yes.
And Professor Irwin Corey is in here.
Yes, who also just passed recently, over 100 years old. Yeah.
Right. And a fantastic appearance by Fred Willard, who just goes nonstop with quips.
Yes, Mr. Willard was very funny and came on the program twice, actually. Yeah.
So here's some celebrity guests.
Oh, I started when I was 7 years old.
Oh.
In Trinidad.
Okay, and doing
and then,
dancing and
painting. Yeah. Are you nervous?
Having such big stars on it really sets me off a little bit.
Well, just relax.
Okay. What do you do to relax, Mr. Holder?
Just breathe. That's
okay.
right.
And just do that over and over?
No, just take a deep breath and exhale. Much better, yeah.
Okay. Now, well, that is much better, Mr.
Much
Holder.
better.
Thank you. Because sometimes my co-host David gets me upset, and sometimes I get worked up with all the big stars, and now I'll know. I just have to breathe.
We are people.
Okay.
All right, can you hear me all right now?
Yes, thank you.
I didn't get to mention that, I was attracted to Underdog primarily because he flew, and I wanted him to be more serious, more dignified. I used my dancing, the classic steps which simulated flight within human limitations. Now, I brought a picture along. Some of you watching might have wondered why my cape was decorated the way it was. When Underdog...
Okay, David. All right.
Well,
And you prefer toothpaste than tooth powder. You can still get the tooth powder, you know.
I really prefer tooth powder. You know, in the days of the 30s and 40s, they had Dr. Lyons and, Colgate, Pepco, Kalox. Now they only make, toothpaste, except for Arm & Hammer. They do make a baking soda fluoride tooth powder, which I do have at home, which I also use with Crest and with, the Arm & Hammer.
So you mix the powder with the
No, I first brush with powder.
Okay.
It's more effective in taking out the dirt. And then I use Crest after that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very informative. As you see, I'm quite a Batman fan of the old TV series and the new movie. And now, Michael Keaton, who was Batman, was on Mr. Rogers, right?
Yes.
He did.
He was on Mr. Rogers?
Yes, he was one of the people.
Imagine being on Mr. Rogers. Was this on television?
Yes.
Yes,
well,
he was on him.
He ran the trolley for some time.
Oh, when
and
you
also
said he was on Mr. Rogers, it's like many people ask me, have you ever been on Merv Griffin? They saw me on the Merv Griffin. I says, you never saw me on Merv Griffin. You may have seen me on his show, but you never saw me on Merv Griffin. Although there are many have.
I get your meaning.
Okay, if you could please read that, Mr. Cosmetic, because we have many guests today.
Okay,
we do want to maybe get to the poem.
I love poetry that rhymes. I hate it when it doesn't rhyme.
Oh.
Although that's supposed to be good poetry, but I prefer a good rhyme.
This is poetry who rhymes.
Oh, good. Okay.
Don't. This is something serious. This is something serious.
Von mein Chum ist wett vorüber. Schulen ruf von nun und weit.
Harpo's Ladder, last time, kids, with gusto. We are climbing, come on. We are climbing Harpo's Ladder. We are climbing Harpo's Ladder. Just an opera hat full of yellow chickens. He was a soldier of the clouds. Ow!
Wavy Gravy and Greg Brady in one clip there.
Yeah, and Wavy Gravy's still with us. He's getting close to 90 years old now, I think, and so that living is working for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we just watched clips from how many years? How many years did Beyond Vaudeville run?
Well, we did the show for just about 10 years, and then we did 10 years from 86 to 1996, and then on MTV we did about another 65 shows, and and that was over about a year. So we did in 1 year at MTV what it took us 10 years to do in public access.
So we're going to get into their MTV years now. MTV acquired the show, retitled it Oddville MTV, made some changes that we'll get into. But first, here is an MTV News special hosted by Kurt Loder.
In the world, they're odd. On Oddville MTV, they're stars. It's in my Weeknights at 11 at the 10 spot.
The guests are odd, the hosts clearly aren't playing with a full six-pack, and even the visiting bands aren't what you'd expect. We visited the set, and we're still a little confused, too. Take a look.
Welcome to Oddville, MTV, with your host, Frank Hope, and your co-host, David Green, with special guest superstar, Kurt Loder.
I was born May 3rd, 1915.
Did you do any time in prison? I notice you have a lot of tattoos. No, it's a joke.
Roll out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun.
Where do you find these people?
All kinds of places. There's talent shows and senior citizen homes and auditions. We have auditions sometimes and colleges. Lots of great talent on colleges. We had one guy that reached into his mouth and pulled his uvula out, that little punching bag in the back of his
His whole uvula?
He pulled it all the way out to here. Please, without further ado, Ms. Suzanne Muldowney as underdog.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
Are there regular recurring guests? I mean, are people so talented you can't really plumb the depths of their talent with just one sitting?
Yes, well, there's Fruity Nutcake.
Yeah.
She's the rapping grandmother.
She may have been the queen of the Hollywood scene, but Fruity Nutcake, yeah, she's the queen of this scene. Oh, yeah.
Rapping grannies, dancing monkeys, hostile psychopaths, and puppets. This show has everything. Oddville has been brewing quietly in the underground of New York City cable access TV for a decade now, and it's finally surfacing on MTV. Let's see what its roots are.
Are you excited about going on, like, I don't want to say legitimate television, but non-cable access television? Is it a move up or is it a move to the side? Or
Yeah, there's lots of improvements. On the old show, I used to have to clip the microphones on the people, so that's a big plus right there.
Also, production values have improved, sort of, and Joey the Monkey's nearly housebroken, and even the mysterious and kind of frightening David Green hasn't attacked anyone, yet. There's a cheery announcerette, of course, and a smart line of musical visitors like Weed.
Everything is a turning round.
now, do the people back in cable access land, do they grumble about sellouts? Do they think you've sold out and go into like the land of the big buck? Is there that kind of grumbling and griping? I hate that.
Well, I don't. I guess I haven't really talked to any of them.
Oh, you're so removed from your roots that you don't even hear their chatter back there.
Oh boy. Well, I guess we.
It's over for you, that part of your life.
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, onto bigger things, I guess.
Yeah.
Oddville airs on MTV every weekday night at 7 and 11. It starts adding up if you watch it a lot. That's just a suggestion. There's still more in store, too, so stay with us.
Yeah.
Kurt Loder was a big fan of ours. He knew our old show, and he was really supportive of us when we got there. He's almost 90 years old now too. He's pretty old actually, well, much older than people ever realize. He was like a reporter in Vietnam, and crazy.
Can you outline the differences between Beyond Vaudeville and Oddville?
Let's see. I mean, you saw that there was Melissa, who was a co-host that MTV thought we should have, because there's no way I could find somebody like that to be on the show. And then I had to dye my hair, even though I've been gray since I've been about 16 years old, and they wanted me to dye my hair, and then the guests, a lot of our old Beyond Vaudeville family did come over. You saw Suzanne Muldowney and many others actually that actually were on, because in 65 shows, every show had a band and a celebrity and like about 6 different performers, and they were given like a very short amount of time. So, and everyone had to come from this area, from the New York and the surrounding area. So, but we had to because most of their audience was like 12-year-old girls. All our fan mail was from 12-year-old girls, and so we had to have a lot of like acts that would appeal to those kids too. So we'd have acrobats and tumblers and things that we normally wouldn't have, on the show. But in addition to the kind of people that we would usually have on the show.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Up next, I want to show you a brief montage of host Frank Hope interacting with Melissa. I always felt that, I don't know if you were acting out against MTV or you were just uncomfortable having such a talkative co-host, but your kind of banter at the beginning of every episode was always a bit strange.
Mildly awkward, yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Take a look.
I'm your announcer, Melissa. Take it away, Frank!
Boy, that was great, Melissa. Very energetic. Now, were you telling me earlier that you have CPR training, right? Is that...
Yeah, I'm actually CPR certified.
Wow, well, that can come in handy sometime, I guess. I've always been meaning to ask you, what is your favorite season? You know, I've always been meaning to ask you, what is your astrological sign? I've always wanted to ask you, what do you think of daylight savings time? Now, I've always meant to ask you, what's your preference in floor coverings?
What do you mean?
Well, like, you know, rugs or tile.
Okay. That's an interesting question. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You know, you've asked me before what I like to do on the weekends, what I consider to be fun.
Right.
What would be like your ideal thing to do on a weekend? A fun weekend event?
An ideal thing, if the weather was right and everything.
Sure, yeah.
I would say go to a Renaissance fair, a Renaissance festival.
Really?
Right. You know, where they go and you say you say to the women, like, "Oh, my lady," and then the lady says, like, "Yes, my lord," you know, and all that stuff.
And they're all dressed up in their costumes and everything?
Right, right. It's, maybe we could go sometime. You want to?
Sure, okay, I've never been.
All right.
Sounds like fun.
Okay, and maybe we could bring our co-host, David, with us, right? David? Okay. All right. Well,
David's transition to MTV was relatively simple.
Relatively. I guess he behaved himself much more in, it was a very different kind of environment because there were all these people, camera people. We used to have 2 camera people who are our friends that would jump between the 3 cameras and and this was a whole big crew, so it was a whole different kind of setting, and so I think David was on different behavior on that program, right, David? You haven't said anything, David, this whole time. Maybe you want to contribute something, okay? Oh, okay. All right, so, oh boy. Actually, we had Sean Lennon came one time to the show, and he was there because his girlfriend was with the band Chibo Mato, and they were going to be on the show, and the executive producer of the show from MTV was explaining to him what the show was that they were going to be on, and he said, "Oh, this sounds a lot like this show on public access, and you're just doing that show." And he said, "Oh, it is that show." And he said, "Really?" And he wanted to meet David. He said, "Can I meet David Green?" So the producer took him back to meet David. And I mean, you should probably tell this story, David. I don't. It's not my place to tell it. Maybe you want to say what that was like for you. All right. Well, maybe later he'll fill us in on that.
We'll actually watch a clip from that Chibo Mato performance in a moment. But first, I wanted to illustrate how the quality of performers from Beyond Vaudeville to Oddville did not diminish by any means. Up next, we're going to watch a montage of many different kinds of performers, and I assume that the kind of scouting for talent was similar to Beyond Vaudeville.
Very similar, actually, and we looked wider than we usually were looking, like to areas like Pennsylvania and some of the other states around New York.
Gotcha. All right, Oddville performers. Let's take a look.
Hot 2, 3, 4, hot 2, 3, 4, hot 2, 3, 4, hot 2, 3, 4.
was a crooked man and he went a crooked mile and he found a crooked sixpence against a crooked style. He got a crooked cat who caught a crooked mouse and they all lived together in a tiny crooked house. When I have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord,
while everything else was a mess, his shirt was so clean and well pressed. I wanna be like Roy Rogers, yee-haw! I wanna be like Roy Rogers, yee-haw! Look like Roy Rogers and cook like Roy Rogers, yee-haw! 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 My singer to be on TV.
And you're how old now?
How old? I'm 19.
Wow.
Now in the streets of Washington at night, Fox Mulder walks in anguish and despair. He's certain that the things he sees are right, and his partner's just as sure they aren't there.
This ain't no disco. I'm not an Elvis. I'm just me, Arthur of New York. Once a stylist, now an artist. I traded my comb for a microphone.
I want to be like Sally on programs every day, interviewing people in a very special way. If I'm like Barbara Walters, I would be happy too. If I'm like Jane Pauley, that would make my dreams come true.
I'm from New Jersey and I'm proud about it. I love the Garden State. I'm from New Jersey and I want to shout it. I think it's simply great.
So your hands wrestle one another, and you don't know which one's going to win when you do this, right?
I put my mind elsewhere, and I let my hands decide who's going to dominate.
Wow. All right. Well, please, let's see this. This sounds very engaging. In addition to doing the hand wrestling, you make hoagies, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And a hoagie, that's another word for like a hero or a sub, right? Sandwich, okay.
Yeah.
And any ones you like to make in particular? Any particular ones?
The Italian with everything on it.
Oh, yeah.
Good hoagie.
Nice. That's the one that has the provolone, I guess? And the,
Yeah.
And what else goes on that?
2 kinds of ham and salami.
Lettuce.
Lettuce, tomato,
Onion?
mustard, onion,
Mustard?
salt, pepper, oregano.
Awesome.
And a dressing, too, right?
Yeah, oil, vinegar.
Yeah. That sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
I brought with me 2 little friends. Now, baby doll, you see it, don't fall off. This is Pussy Wussy, and I want you to say hello to everybody. Hi, Pussy Wussy. I want to say hello, great to be here. And I brought another friend, right? Yes. Now, we brought Skunky Wunky. Skunky, say hello. I don't want to say hello. Why not? Because I don't like Pussy Wussy. Why didn't you like Pussy Wussy? I don't like her home.
My lofty voice rings across the sea. A world aflame hearkens to my plea. Beguiled people everywhere know my name. Why are some envious even of my fame? Some nations fear my power to shame. Others welcome my peace to proclaim. The destinies of millions is mine to command. The fate of a troubled world lies in my hands. A friend of the friendless am I, ever ready to do or die.
Shipping horizons that are new.
So, thank you. That was our very last episode that we did, and it was a real live wedding with Phil DeJean, who has his own program for years on a great public access show in New York, Checkerboard Kids. And Phil was talking about coming tonight. You're out there, Phil, somewhere tonight? Right here. Yeah, all right. And so that was Phil. And so Phil and Cinnamon got married on that program, and we brought in a lot of our some of our favorite guests, and Suzanne Muldowney, who normally is doing her dance performances and posing, showcase posing, which she'll be doing for us tonight. She also has obviously a beautiful voice, but she really doesn't like balloons. So when that one gentleman, Daniel Lipper, was blowing up that condom on his head, it didn't sit very well, as you could see there.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we open up the floor to questions, we'll do one more series of clips, and that is concerning the musical guests that you had on the show. And I was curious, did you have any input as far as bands that you personally enjoyed, or was it more dictated by MTV?
I didn't know any of these people. For the most part, I really didn't, and it was MTV brought them on. But a lot of them were very talented, and our first taping, we had Hanson there, who at the time, that was like their first appearance, and Blink 182, which was one of their first appearances, and so we had a lot of bands that did have a lot of success after our show.
Great.
Yeah. Not because of our show, but after they, yeah.
So here's a good cross-section of kind of known bands, unknown bands, and oddities.
Oh yeah. Don't be afraid. Touch and feel. Don't be afraid. La la la. La 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 la. La la la. La 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 la. Take what you give and never take time.
The Frogs are a wild band that I would really never expect to see on MTV. Period.
Yeah, that didn't go over too well. That was the bands would always rehearse during the day, and at that time Sebastian Bach was with them, and they were rehearsing, and they were jumping all over my desk and everything, and the MTV people said, no, don't do that, and well, they did it, and they did even more than that, and Sebastian Bach, he came over and he jumped on my back and knocked me over, and Joey was picking me up, and I didn't mind. I mean, I was okay with it, but the MTV people did not like it, and they told them afterward. Well, they ended up cutting their whole song down to like about a minute or something. They were so mad at the band, and then I got this big like basket of fruit from Sebastian Bach the next day, and he didn't have to do that. I was, but MTV made them feel so bad about it, and I also saw Mr. Rollins in there. He wasn't too happy either with the experience. He shook my hand, but Joey went to shake his hand, and he passed by him. And Joey was a little put off by that, but for the most part, the bands enjoyed it. Oh, there was another. I did see one there with the Tonic band. That I don't know the gentleman's name that was leading that band, but he wasn't too happy with the dancing that was going on the side, because it was some serious love song or something. I never knew what the songs were about. We would just dance to the music, and yeah.
There is a real joy, though, that comes from those endings to the Oddville episodes. I love how this somewhat well-known band will perform, and then all of the guests that you just had over the course of the past half hour all dance together and enjoy their time together. It's a wonderful thing, and it really works.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I look at it, and I just still don't understand what we were doing on that network, but it was fun while we did it. For 65 shows was a lot for that, for MTV, and we did them all like in a very short period of time. We had to shoot all those in 2 or 3 months or something, and so it was multiple episodes every day, and a lot of you could see a lot of people going through there every day.
And how does MTV go about telling you that they're putting a stop to the filming of new episodes?
Well, they never really tell you that, and it's just everything was great. They said, "Oh, it was great. That was great," and we're thinking of doing more, and then they move on to I don't know. The Jersey people or something after that. I don't know. They're always changing their thing. We were the first show in something they were doing called the 10 Spot, and they were trying like a first sitcom. This show Apartment 2F or 3F with the Sklar twin comedians, and that was like a regular sitcom, and they were doing Austin Stories, which was another like comedy thing from Austin, and they were just trying very different things, obviously.
So once Oddville wrapped up, did that mark the end of your collaboration with David and?
Well, yeah, and I don't know. I kind of stopped doing it, and David, I don't know. Did you like pursue like do your own thing, doing shows? And we never really talked about that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe later he'll open up a little more. That was kind of the last show, and then really we haven't been doing a show since you got in touch with us, and we're very happy to be back doing it.
Oh, it's great to have you here. Before we open up the floor to questions, did you want to acknowledge anyone that's in attendance that played a big role in your shows?
Well, sure. There are a couple of people that are with us. Steve Korn, who did all our directing from the booth, and he was always the guy that was, calling the different cameras, and Doug and Pete and Joe, everyone had to help out. Like when we were building our sets, we'd all just get together and we'd have to build our sets very quickly because there was always a show right before us and another show right after us, and they hated our show at the studio because we had to set everything up. And so we would do our show and pay our $54, and then we would leave. And so the whole gang would help with puppets and the sets and helping us get guests to and from and helping us find guests. And yeah, it was a lot of great friends helped us, and they're here. A number of them are here tonight.
Fantastic. So the next segment of the show, we're going to take maybe a 5-minute intermission after we take some questions, and then we're going to film the first new episode of Beyond Vaudeville in 20 years.
Yes, 20
it's
years.
A wild,
yeah.
wild thing.
Yeah.
But please, before we take a break, did anyone out there have any questions? You're more than welcome. Please, we'll start right there.
All right. Hi, guys. I have a question. When Mr. Brian, or
Yes.
Brian. So here's my question for you. Now, when you came off the show, now you were doing other stuff with television, stuff like that.
Right.
Did you ever run into people that recognized you from Beyond Vaudeville or Oddbell MTV, and what kind of celebrities are that, and what comments did they have about it?
Yeah, I mean, I would, and I did, go to work at other shows. In fact, I worked with Jimmy Kimmel Live in the early days of the show, and yeah, there were definitely people that I would run into that knew the show out in Los Angeles, and a lot of these guests we were able to bring onto the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. I don't think it could ever happen now because the show has gotten very popular. But back then it was Suzanne was there, and Stryker, and so many of the guests, Bob 33, and people like Wildman Fisher and Gerald and Linda Polly, who were channeling the music of John Lennon, like just all kinds of interesting people that I think it would be hard to get on there now. Yeah, but yeah, I definitely would run into people that knew our old show.
Anyone else out there? Please, in the back, please.
Putting together your sets, it obviously reflected the time. It was a lot of pop culture. That I saw movie posters, I saw advertising displays. Like, what did you do to assemble those sets? Did you guys just have that stuff, or did you actually go out and solicit things for your set?
Well, no. I mean, we had like no budget, so a lot of the stuff you'd see, the toys and things, were from toy stores that were going out of business, and we'd rarely pay more than $3 for an item. It was like Lionel Kitty City and Toys R Us in their sale rack, and so that's where a lot of the toys came from. And a lot of the posters, one of the guys that worked with us, Doug, who's out here, is he was working for a video magazine, Video Review, and they would get all these posters for video releases, home video releases. So it was and we, it didn't matter what the movie was. We were just trying to fill out the set, and so it's so funny to see here some of the stuff, because Dr. Giggles was one that we had on ours. I don't even know where you guys found that, but yeah, we would have posters like that, and because we just wanted to fill out the set, because a lot of the public access studios, you go in and it's just a blue wall, and a lot of access shows would just do that, and but we liked the idea of making it feel really full and with a lot of things to look at.
We have time for maybe one more before the reenactment. Right over there.
Hi, I'm a really big fan. I love your show. I actually have a poster. I was wondering if you guys would, sign it to be honored. If you'd sign it for me.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we can. Do we
right now?
Here? I don't know.
I guess.
Okay. Thank you. Did you have a pen or? Yeah. Okay. Why don't we do it after maybe we can get another one and do that. Okay. All right. Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry.
All right, folks. We're going to take a 5-minute break. We're going to get all our guests in position. Quick note, after the filming of this episode, we do have to deconstruct the set rather quickly, but everybody in attendance is welcome to come up on stage and take photos, meet the guys. We'll do that after this episode filming. So 5-minute break, get a drink, and yeah, we'll go from there. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you, Eric.